my name is Lori Connor. I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about human genetic research and technology. It's a scary and exciting area of research. It does have some elements that seem almost like a science fiction novel. It has the potential to do great good and the potential for misuse and harm. Genetic engineering is defined by thedictionary.com as the development and application of scientific methods, procedures, and technology that permit direct manipulation of genetic material in order to alter the hereditary traits of a cell, organism, or population. 2012. Blood tests are already done today to show some predisposition to some genetic disorders. One example is Huntington's disease. It is a physical decline and prolonged suffering if you have that trait. So what if technology could alter that trait so that the carriers of that gene would not have to suffer from that disease? Would you use that to change that? On a personal note, my ex-husband had a sister who died from cystic fibrosis. He was tested and knew that he was a carrier for that trait. For that reason, we chose not to have children. He was afraid to bring a child into the world that would possibly suffer the way his sister had. But would you use genetic technology to make your own designer baby? Interestingly, 100% of the respondents to my survey said no, if they had the choice to choose the sex of their unborn child. But what about the other things? Height, eye color, hair color, even intelligence. Would you choose to enhance your child? Of those surveyed, 92.9% also answered no. Testing from the blood of the mother and the saliva of the father can be used to do an entire genome of a fetus. But what can you detect from that? Thousands of diseases, potential hereditary disorders. But at what cost is that? Would those expectant parents be prepared to abort an imperfect fetus? As stated in an article by Andrew Pollack in the New York Times, the process of genetic genomes right now is not affordable, not really even accurate enough to use. It could cost between $20,000 and $50,000 for one genome. Here is a picture of a human genome, which is courtesy of the National Human Genome Research Institute. People polled from my survey said, from previous questions, I thought the responses were rather interesting. It seems as if they don't really support genetic testing for these kind of things. But when asked if they thought that it was ethical, they responded in a 50-50 split. Current data shows that organ donations are way below demand. So supply is much less than we could use in today's society. In an article in the Dayton Daily News written by Maria Cheng in June 14, 2012, a 10-year-old child who had blockage of a vein supplying needed blood to her liver had a severe blockage. They used her stem cells to grow a new vein. There are big benefits from using this. That patient would not have to ever take the anti-rejection medications that not only are lifelong necessity, they're very costly, and they do have potential for side effects. But interesting enough, the article did go on to say that that first replacement vein failed and had to be replaced again. So the question here is that a really practical treatment? With the possibility of each one of these treatments being $6,000 to $10,000, is that cost effective in our already very taxed healthcare system? My survey showed 85.7% said yes to using a replacement organ for themselves or a loved one. 78.6% of my respondents polled said that they thought that the research was cost effective, and 71.4% felt that insurance companies should cover some type of procedures for their people. So what do they do with those results though? What can insurance companies really do? Can they drop you? Can they discriminate against you? Would they not offer you coverage or maybe increase your rates? Well, in 2008, the United States Congress passed the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, which prohibits employees and insurance companies from using information about one's genetic predisposition to make decisions regarding policy coverage and employment. That's from the Gale, Opposing Viewpoints in Context and Print. So what about regulations? My poll showed that 71.4% believe there should be some government regulations. But there's also other controversies. What about patenting? So I'm going to quote an article from Laying Claim to the Building Blocks of Humanity. While patents are generally rejected for naturally occurring materials, patents have been granted for gene sequences, interesting enough, that are classified as human-made, since they are made manually and isolated from their natural environment. That also from the Gale, Opposing Viewpoints in Context and Print. So there are some frightening areas. What about enhancing for military purposes? What if rogue states decided to manipulate genetics to make the super person to use in horrifying wars? Or maybe they wanted to develop some kind of fatal biological weapons to use against their opponent. These are scary thoughts. It's a possibility. So in conclusion, I would like to say that human genetic research is an exciting and promising field. So much good can be offered, but more research needs to be done. There are still areas of great concern. Some treatments may be costly and prohibitive due to the present situation of our healthcare system and, of course, the global economic climate. Regulations need to be in place because we need to make sure that the technology is safe and effective, and we want to prevent fraud or misuse. The safeguards should maintain the integrity of the science and to protect our future and present civilizations. So I hope these few minutes have given you a little food for thought. This is truly a vast topic. There are some right and wrong answers, but like so many other controversial issues, there is potential for good and bad. I would like to end by quoting an American proverb: "Nothing ventured, nothing gained." Thank you for your attention and have a good day.
7 minutes, 22 seconds.